Welcome to anyone that's joining us live, but also to people watching this back on YouTube. I'm Sarah Patterson. I work in the Technology Enhanced Learning Department here in MTU Cork, and this morning's session is on managing Canvas assignments, grading, and feedback. So I'm going to try and keep it to 30 to 40 minutes so anyone joining live can make it to their 11 a.m. classes or meetings. So I'll just quickly get into what we're going to go over today. So we're going to go over how you can review your assignment settings and quiz settings. Generally, if there's any issues with students being able to upload assignments or complete quizzes, it might be something in the settings, so we'll go over those. We'll show you how to find submitted assignments. And on with that, I'll show you Speedgrader. So Speedgrader is a tool within Canvas where you can look at student submissions and add feedback, etc. I'll show you how to mark quizzes as well, which is slightly different to marking assignments. Then we'll go over the gradebook, the settings in the gradebook, and how you can post results to students or hide them. And then I'll just cover some other tips and tricks as well. And actually, before we get into the demonstration, I just want to talk about some supports that we have that can help you using Canvas and setting up assignments, etc. So Canvas themselves have 24/7 support. So if you click on, and I'll just show you the help button on your Canvas, you can either go to a live web chat with Canvas themselves, or you can submit a ticket to them. They also have a phone number that you can ring, or you can email them at support@instructure.com. Then for local support, if you're having issues authenticating into Canvas, so logging on, you need to contact service desk. So that's service desk at mtu.ie. But if you're having issues just with settings on something, or you need help on how to do something in Canvas, then you contact us, the TL team at edtech@mtu.ie. Also, we have a department website that's actually recently had a makeover, and I'll actually show it to you in a second. And you can get help guides from there, or you can go to tlhelp.eu.helpdocs.com. But that's kind of hard to remember, so I'll show you how to just get to it from our own website. And the same with our YouTube. We have Technology Enhanced Learning MTU YouTube, which we're streaming on now, but also it has all of our previous training is on the live tab there. You can watch all the previous training on different things there. So I'll just show you the website. So what you would, if you want to get to help docs or to the YouTube, you just click the for staff tab on the tel.cit.ie website. And then you scroll down, you'll see there's a link directly to our YouTube channel and to the help docs. So then you go straight to the help docs without having to remember that web address. So I'm just going to go back into the presentation now. Right, so yeah, so I'm going to start on the demonstration of in Canvas. So what I'm using here is just a test Canvas module that we use for training, just to show you how to set up assignments and quizzes. So you can get to your assignments if you've added them to your unit, or you can just click on the assignments tab. And I'm going to open an assignment and then just go over the settings in it. So if I click into this assignment and then click edit. So the first thing to look at in your settings is we recommend that you put all assignments as 100 points. It's just easier when you're grading in the end. It's fairly straightforward. Then the next thing is the submission type. So probably 9 times out of 10, you want to set up an assignment where your students are uploading a file. So they could be uploading a PDF or a doc or a PowerPoint or something. So if they're having issues where they can't upload the file, it's probably to do with the submission type settings that you have. So what we recommend that you do is you go to submission type and you make sure you've selected online as the submission type, and then select file uploads. And that means that this type of submission is for people to upload files. If you hadn't selected that, then they couldn't upload anything, basically. You can also restrict upload file types if you want to. So if you say it has to be a PDF or it has to be a PowerPoint or something, you can put the .pdf.ppt there if you want to. But generally, we would just say to tick file uploads there. So that's how you do that. If you were having an assignment where it's actually off of Canvas, but you still want to give them their grades on Canvas, you could just put on paper and you could still do the grading in Canvas, but they don't actually upload anything there. So I'll just change that back. You can also change how many submission attempts an assignment has. So this assignment has three attempts. So maybe a student uploads a bit early and then decides that they've actually want to make updates to their attempt, they can then upload it again, basically, and they can do that up to 3 times. And another thing to keep an eye on is the assign box here. So again, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to assign the assignment to everyone. So you can just select everyone and it auto selects that. But if you wanted to assign an assignment to a section, you can select a section there. Or if you wanted to assign one to a specific student, you can do it that way too. And you can remove the everyone if you wanted to do it that way. Also just down here, I'm just going to explain the difference between due, available from, and until. So due just means when the assignment is due. So you see this assignment is due the 3rd of February 2023 at 8:40. But because these two fields are empty, it means that students can still submit, so they can still upload to this assignment past 8:40 on that date. They'll just be marked as late. We would suggest that you keep it that way and maybe leave the until box blank. And then either, you can deal with the late submissions however you want to. Or if you really want to, you can add a date here so that it blocks off people being able to upload at a certain point. So you could just do it at the same time or later. And then similarly with available from, that just makes it that the assignment, students will see the assignment is there, but they won't be able to submit to it until a certain time. So you might set it to a week before, or I'll just set it to this time. That means that students can submit from 11th of January at midnight, and it's due at this time. And that's like their window, if you get me. And if I put an until in, that would mean that's the time that they can upload between. But we would suggest maybe it might be better if instead of doing that, you could just publish the assignment when you're ready for students to be able to submit to it, because otherwise they might go see there's an assignment and get confused that they can't submit to it. So instead, maybe just save the assignment. And I'll go into assignments and then you just publish it. And now all these assignments are published because they had submissions that I will be showing you later. But just to mention that you should publish assignments, otherwise students won't be able to get to them. So you just click there and it's even if they're in the units, it's the same thing. You need to make sure they're published for students to be able to access them, and you can unpublish them as well, as long as they don't already have submissions. So the next thing is quizzes. So the settings on quizzes. So I'm just going to open quiz 2. So again, we recommend that you put in points 100, just easier for grading. And there isn't like a submission type because this is an external tool called New Quizzes. But if I go down to the assign, you can do the same thing where you can assign to anyone, like a person or a section, and also same with the do. But here is where you might actually want to do the available from and until, because say you're doing sending out a quiz to your students and you only want them to be able to do it within maybe a 2-hour period on a certain day. If you don't have the available from and until, maybe one student will do it before the rest of the students and then tell them the questions, and then those students can look up the answers. So you probably do want to have an available from and until on that. So if I set that up, this is the 13th of February. So if I go 13th of February, I'm going to say 10 a.m. And then you just have to make sure that the times work out. It'll give you an error if the time is after the due time. But if I go 13th of February, then I'm going to say 12 to match with the other one. 12. And then click save. Okay, so now I'm going to go into assignments again and show you how you can look at the actual submissions. So I'll open this assignment 1-1 again. And you can see here on the right, before we've gone into the edit thing, that there are some options here. So Speedgrader, I briefly mentioned at the start, but you can also download submissions if you want to just grade on your own PC. So if I click download submissions, it'll download a zip file. I'll show you. Yeah, you can see the zip file here, which you can extract, and it'll have all of the submissions there that you can open, and you can see even in the submission name, it's flagging that the student was late. But you can also, if I just get out of this, go to Speedgrader, and Speedgrader is a tool within Canvas where you can view submissions and comment on them within Canvas without having to do it offline. So one second. So this is what Speedgrader looks like, and there's lots of options that you can do, and you can also see all of the student submissions. So if I click on them, you see it opens each submission. And you can see if a student didn't submit, it'll show that there's no submission as well. I'm just going to go back to the top one. You can also see here, and I'll talk about this a bit more later, that the word hidden is written over the mark. So I've put in a mark here already, but it's hidden, and that means I haven't posted it out to students yet. And I'll show you how you can post marks out to students later. But yes, so some of the options you have for giving feedback to students are up here. So you can see here there is a point annotation, so you can just click anywhere in the document and leave a comment like this. And then the students will be able to see that comment when you've released their results, basically. And the same thing here with highlighting. So you could highlight and then leave a comment there. And you can also add text. This is all very similar to maybe Adobe Acrobat if you've ever used that. You can also use the strike through tool. So if you wanted to cross out something in the text, you'll see there's some other comments that I've already left, and I've used the strike through tool here. But you can use it just by dragging in and it'll cross out stuff, and then you can leave a comment there too. You can even draw on it. So if you wanted to do an arrow or something pointing to something or highlight something, you can do that. And the same with the box as well. You can add a box. And you can even change the colors of them if you wanted to. So yeah, I've noted that the mark is hidden, but I'm just going to move on to the actual comments down here. So these are more specific comments on the document. If you want to do like a comment for your overall comment on the document, you can see there already is one here. You use this box here, but something you might not know is that there is a little button here you can click. And basically, if you find yourself using the same comments over and over for different students, you might want to have a library of them to be able to go from. So this is the library that I have, and you can add stuff to the library as well if you find certain comments work. So I'm just writing really well researched and clicking add to library. And then I can just click on a comment and it will appear in the window, and I just click submit, and then it will go to the student. You can also click attach. So there's a file attachment here, and you choose a file and attach it to a comment. And you can also click on media comments. So this is where you would record either your voice or a video. So you can just see me here, and I could choose whether to do just a voice recording or choose my camera. And also I can choose my mic here, and I'm happy with those. You can even upload media here, but if you are just doing a video feedback to someone, just click start recording, it'll do a countdown. And then you record your feedback, so you just give them feedback. If you're not happy with the video, you can start over, but I'll just do one fully now. Yep, so just give your feedback, to the person. And then when you're happy with your feedback, click finish and then click save media. And then that's added as well. One thing I do need to note on this that might be of interest to people is that if you are sharing your feedback with an external examiner, if you're sharing the grading and the feedback with them, these videos and recordings aren't actually shareable at the moment. I do think it's something that Canvas are working on, but at the moment it's not possible to share them. If you scroll down here and click download submission comments, it'll only download the text comments that you've given, but you can share that with the external examiner then. Okay. Yeah, so when you're happy with that, you're just clicking submit, and then that'll go to students only when they've their grades have been posted. So that's how that works. 1 second, next thing. We're going to go into making grades available. So I'm going to go back into the module and go to the gradebook. So where's gradebook? Here it's under grades. And you can see here all of your assignments and quizzes are here. So I'm just going to show you the settings. So if you click on the cog up here, and you can see the different settings on the gradebook. So late policies. So if you wanted to, you could have automatically apply a grade for missing submissions. You can also automatically apply a deduction to any late submissions as well. And then also the grade posting policy. So all MTU modules are automatically set to manually posting grades. You could change it to automatically, but we would suggest that you keep it in a manually, and that just means that when you enter grades for someone, they won't get them straight away until you actually post the grades out to people. And that's probably the best thing to do. So if I go back in, I'll show you how you can actually do that. So if you highlight over a assignment and click this options tool here, then you can go and click post grades. And you can see here there's two options here. You can post to everyone or graded, because you can see here one person hasn't been graded yet. So I'm going to select graded. You could even do it for specific sections. Then when you click post, you'll know that it's posted because you see this little icon here, the eye with the line in it. That means that students can't see their grade. And also if you click student view on the module, you can check that as well. But I'm just going to click post, and then the eye should disappear, and that means students can't see it. So the easiest way to see if your students can see grades or not is to see if the eye is there or not, basically. And actually, I'm going to go back into quizzes and just show you how you can moderate grading for those too. So if I open the quiz and click build, I'm going to click moderate. Now, if you have a quiz where there's multiple choice questions and all the questions have just one answer and it's corrected automatically, then you won't need to go into certain things to correct. But if you have questions where it's like open answered questions, then you'll need to go into their submission. So if I go into this attempt, you'll see it says the following questions need review, and it's question 2. So this was where it was an open answer thing. So please outline the process of submitting an assignment to Canvas. I've put in an answer. And then you can say whether it's correct or incorrect. So I'll just mark it as correct. And then click update. And then their results are updated. So then that will be reflected in the gradebook. Another thing actually in quizzes to note when you're doing settings is in the settings of the quiz, make sure restrict student result view is toggled on, because if that was turned off, it would mean that your students would get, especially if it's one of those quizzes where no moderation needs to happen because they're automatically corrected. They'll get the results immediately sent to them if this is turned off. So you want to make sure it's turned on so they'll only get their quiz results when you release them, like the posting grades that I showed you a minute ago. So next thing, I'm just going to go back into the gradebook. So click return, hit grades. So the next thing I just want to show you is if you're in a hurry and you're not grading in Speedgrader, you can grade people directly. So if I just click in here, I can give people direct grades there, and I can edit any grades too. You can also click, when you click into a person's grade, there's this little right arrow icon. You can click on that, you can grade them from there. You can go into their Speedgrader submission there, and you can change their status. So you can say if they were late, missing, excused, etc. So that's handy. One other thing I'll just show you is Ouriginal submissions. So you can see here Ouriginal submissions. If you set up an assignment that has plagiarism detection, and Ouriginal is the tool that we use in MGU, you'll see that submissions will come up with these little flags. So the blue one means that there's a low similarity score, and the red one means that there's a high one. So I'm just going to click in and go to Speedgrader to be able to look into this further. And you can see here that it says 0%, so that doesn't need any more investigation, but I will go to the other submission that had the high. So you can see here it says 96% similarity score. So this document was highly likely to have been plagiarized. You can see here it's actually a page off Wikipedia, so it definitely was plagiarized. I just needed to get the score high so I can show you. And then if you want to look into it further, you just click on that score there and it'll load up Ouriginal. And then you can see here, it has 4 different tabs that you can investigate the findings with. So this tab just has an overview where you can click on blocks. And it just has blocks of text where they found matching similarity to somewhere else. So you can see here, they've found it on Wikipedia. And you can exclude blocks if you want. So if something you think it's okay that the student shared or used a certain thing, you can exclude it. Similarly, in findings, you can go through it that way, see all the similar things and exclude things if you need to. And in sources as well, if there's a source that you're happy for students to copy from, you could just untick it from this list and you'll see my similarity score now has gone down to 27% because it was all ripped from Wikipedia. I'll turn that back on. And document as well is very similar. You can just go through document as well and exclude things if you want to. If I go back into this and I'm just going to untick, go down to 27%. If you've excluded some things, but then you want to reset it and go back to where it started when you first opened the report, you just click this button here and it'll reset back to the 96%. You can also download the report or export it as a PDF, and you can also share it. So if you want to share it with other staff members, you can just click the share button. Now, I don't have time to go in any great detail into Ouriginal, but we do have videos on it on our YouTube channel that you can look at too. I'm just going to go back in. So the next thing is prepping for Web for Faculty / MyBan. So when you've given all of your grades, then you want to then put those grades into MyBan or Web for Faculty. What you can do is export them into a Excel sheet. So if I click the export button up here and click export current gradebook view or export entire gradebook, I'll just click entire gradebook. And it will export as a CSV file, which you can open in Excel. And then you can do further filtering if you need to, and then you could put it into a different spreadsheet if you're using a spreadsheet to to mark all your students, or you can just take the results and put them into MyBan basically. Then the final thing is once you have posted your results to students, you might want to message specific students. So you can do that by highlighting the options again and clicking message students who. And there's a few options here. So you could message students who haven't submitted, maybe reminding them of the assignment or something like that. Or there's a few options, but you could say scored less than. So say I want students that scored less than 70, just so I know to come up because we have the marks here. And then you could give them some feedback or maybe add an attachment with an example of a good paper or a good assignment submission. You can also record audio, video very similarly to the way we did it with within Speedgrader as well. So that's very handy. So now I'm just going to go back into the presentation to finish off. So just a few tips. So it's important that you communicate the date, time, and duration of any assessments, whether that's quizzes or assignments, and let students know when they're going to be able to access it too. It's good to include any special instructions, like how many questions are in an assessment or in a quiz, and also maybe tell students how to contact you before or during the live online assessment as well if they have any issues. Also, it's really important to make sure that your assessment is published and available to students. Does the available from date match the planned sitting time for your assessment? That's definitely important for quizzes. And is the until date going to cut off any students prematurely or unnecessarily? And then finally, are your students able to access the assessment? Have you looked at your assessment and module in the student view? So I'll just show you what student view looks like if you haven't used it before. I go back into the module. Student view is a really good tool where you can just click this button on the top right of your module and see what students will see. So say this assignment test, you're wondering why your students aren't accessing it. It's because it isn't published, but you can also see in the student view that it's not showing up for students. So that's why they can't access it. Click leave student view as well. And also, have you previewed your quiz from the quiz environment? So I'll also show you that just for a second. If you go into quizzes, you can preview quizzes. So if I click quizzes and go to quiz 2, and then scroll down and go into build. You can preview the quizzes so you'll see what it looks like for students as well. So it's just this button here in the build environment of the quiz. Click preview. And then you can preview a quiz and go through it as well. So you can see if there's any issues with it. Yeah, so that's it for this session. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll hang on for a minute. Okay, I don't think there's any questions. So I will be sending the recording to anyone that wasn't the live session. And it also should be in the YouTube description of this session. You can also email us at tech@mtu.ie, as I mentioned before, and you can follow us on Twitter at MTU TL team as well. So thank you for coming, everyone.